Really happy to introduce this week's episode. I've been following this lady for ages, and quite often when I wake up in the morning and don't feel 100% myself, I will turn her on because she always brings me so much joy. And funny enough, actually, when we met for this discussion and this chat, she was at a crossroads in her life, which I've seen and watched since, and it's all happening. Because when this woman makes a decision, she sees it through. I'm delighted to introduce to you this week's episode with Nadine Reid. This series of Bebel podcast is brought to you by award-winning skincare brand, Irish-founded, female-founded, Ella & Jo, by the amazing Charlene Flanagan and Neve Ryan. I will tell you more about Ella & Jo during this episode. Nadine, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having it. It's an honour, a privilege. I'm delighted. It's great to be in Dublin. I thought I'd maybe be in Cork, but you know, Dublin will have to do today. No, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, honestly, I have been trying to get you on, as you know, for ages, because I followed you for ages on the old gram.
That's what that shadow was. I was wondering who that was behind me.
It was me. It was that weight. It was me hanging off your leg.
Everywhere. Oh my God.
But I have, and you bring me a lot of joy. And so I was like, you know, when I think of Bebel and I think about what it all stands for and everything else, it is about bringing joy and passing things forward and make it, you know, but it's also about stories. And I've loved watching your stories since I've known you, but I know it goes way back further than that.
Oh God. You don't, now this isn't the longest podcast ever, right? So
this can be, as long as you want it to be. Let's
bring
condense.
it in. First of all, can I get some of that joy back?
Yes, I'm here for that. I'm here for it.
Give me some joy back.
If you're nice, I'll take the hot chocolate after.
Oh, I'm already feeling happier. Yeah,
best hot chocolate. Okay. So I know originally you're from the UK, but where were you actually born?
Ah, that's a very good question, which some people get offended by. Oh. I quite enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I love the idea of reminiscing and imagining my grandma coming over to Birmingham from being born in a small parish, Clarendon in Jamaica in the Caribbean. And then my grandma decided that, let's go to England because we can get some work there and they want us to come here. So, you know, the thought of her packing her little suitcase, you know, not with wheels.
Clunk, click.
Yeah, clunk, click, leather, if you were lucky, probably handed down, and like packing up all her stuff, bringing some, I don't know, crazy thick fur coat because I've heard it's freezing, and then moving to Birmingham. And so my grandma moved to Birmingham. She started working in the Birmingham Eye Hospital in the canteen. My granddad worked in a bullet factory. Like that was a thing. I know, it's weird. And then my eldest uncle, he then worked making tyres. They did all these factory jobs. Because I assumed they were just what was going,
it was very industrial at the time.
Yeah, the Industrial Revolution. So my family kind of just moved to Birmingham and started this I just find it mad how they started their new life. But then my mom and my uncles, my aunties, they're like, we live here now. Oh God, the thought of moving away, like they think I'm weird. Yeah. A bit weird for moving to Ireland. I'm like, it's half an hour away.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind? Sometimes I find it weird.
Yeah, I think we were all sort of congregated into areas, though, weren't we? We stayed with our family. We stayed quite close. We felt safe being that close. It wasn't. People didn't travel an awful long way at the time.
I'm like a classic immigrant.
Yeah,
and everyone hates that word. In fact, I'm going to own it the English way: expat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an expat living in Ireland. Yeah. There we go.
Well, I say, I'm a blow-in here, 24 years blow-in. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
I can't believe you don't sound even slightly Irish.
No, I know.
Not even one word.
And it's all, I always find it confusing. I was just on holiday with my sister. My other sister, Claire, she lives in Ennis, but she talks like that.
Oh, I love that.
Because she's got a real Welsh accent.
Oh, gosh. And it's still solid.
It's solid.
Has she been there 25 years as well?
She's been in Ireland, 20 odd years. And it's solid. I think once you have your accent, you have your accent.
I don't know. I seem to sort of blend into a bit of dub and then sometimes even a bit Donegal. I'm like, what's going on here?
I can hear the Donegal in you.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, what's going on? What happened to me?
You're a chameleon. You adapt to the people that you're speaking to.
I think it's a musical thing. That's what I like to tell myself.
Yeah, well, the Welsh and the Cork accent is actually very melodic.
Yes.
It really is. So I find it quite similar to the Welsh accent.
I'm weak for the Cork accent, but I'm not even getting to hear it, sadly.
No, I know.
But look, it's all
I'm
good.
so sorry.
I still love and appreciate your voice. It's delicious.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that. I'm going to take that, put that in my pocket and make myself all happy today. So I love Birmingham. I've been to Birmingham a few times.
Good.
Bullring, great nights out in Birmingham back in the day.
Mr. Egg. Do you know about Mr. Egg?
No.
Oh, well, you haven't really been to Birmingham.
Oh.
That's where you'd always go for the food after a night out. Mr. Egg.
Oh, I'd be all bolty.
Literally called Mr. Egg. Oh, yeah. Curry Mile.
Yeah, Curry Mile, bolty.
Okay. You know about Birmingham. That's very good.
I'm all about that. And Hartley Hare that used to be on the telly when I was a kid. I don't know if you know. Hartley Hare. And my name's Pig and I love cream cakes.
Is this the puppet thing?
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, God, I'm really old.
No, you're not.
70s.
Hartley Hare.
I grew up with Hartley Hare.
I remember that. I remember like some kind of fox or a badger or something.
It was the scruffiest, dirtiest looking hair ever. And children all around the country were obsessed with it.
Oh, my God.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You'll have to look it up.
Was there swearing in it? Because maybe my grandma didn't let me watch it.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm from a very conservative Christian family is what you'd probably say.
Yeah.
Like my mom would cover my eyes when like people kissed on EastEnders.
Oh, really?
Aunties, yeah.
I might have covered my mum's eyes, just a sheer embarrassment. So you grew up in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
What school? Brothers and sisters?
Right. That's another story. We might have to have that on the what do you call it? After dark version. Yeah. But I'm an only child to my mother.
Okay.
We'll leave. Maybe we'll start and leave it there. So growing up, I would have spent more time with my cousins.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? My
Close
cousins were like my sisters, my brothers, and my mom was a young mom when she had me, and her brothers they're kind of close, not that much younger than her. So my uncles became these like brother, father figures in my life. Like they taught me how to do kung fu because, I really thought I could do it, like Bruce Lee style. They taught me how to ride a bike, how to drive my car. Do you know what I mean? Had to be tough, but obviously not that tough. But yeah, so growing up, it was more like me and my uncles and me and my cousins. Those are the people I spent. Like I remember playing the Olympics. That was the game that we'd play. So you'd make all the different javelin, like throwing some kind of stick broom thing.
Plates for discus.
Everything. And then obviously the sprints. I'll never forget being so into sprinting, but obviously just in the back garden. So, when you get that momentum and you're really into it. I remember running and ran through the fence to the next door neighbour. It's like I couldn't stop. I was so like, oh my God, yeah. Yeah. Oh. So I was that kind of keen, excitable child. Yeah.
Academic?
Yeah. Definitely not.
Okay.
No. I was good with jigsaws, my mum said.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's more of a creative
Problem
thing.
solving.
Maybe. It's funny when you look back, you just go, oh, Lord, how did we get here? Then you go, oh, that's how we got here.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way?
Putting the puzzles back in place. I wasn't a puzzle maker. I sometimes couldn't vision the end puzzle.
Okay.
You have to be able to do that.
That's quite interesting.
That's a gift.
It's one of the only things I remember. My mom wouldn't be a parent that would tell you, some parents go, when you were young, this and that and this. So my mom's not that kind of parent. She's just like, you're here, aren't you? You're healthy. It went well. She's just like,
I did my job.
I think she's just satisfied that I'm alive, I'm healthy. Yeah. She did it. That kind of way. But I do remember her telling me a story that they would, I don't know how old I was, but now I think about it, maybe it was like a basic jigsaw. But, it'd be like, come and look, Pan Nadine, do the jigsaw. And then all the family would be like putting all the pieces there and I'd be there going, like some Sheldon Cooper genius.
Like Rain Man.
Yeah, like Rain Man. But it was probably just like a, 5-piece jigsaw? I don't know. And then my family got me to do the A+, 11 plus, it was called
11
then.
plus,
Remember 11
so
plus?
You could go to grammar school.
Yeah, so I didn't pass it or get the results at all. But I feel like I'm probably one of those people that showed all these promising signs to be something academic, but I wasn't a natural fit for academia. Yeah. But it's only as I've got older, I've gone, oh gosh, if maybe they just sent me to surgeon school, I could be like replacing hearts right now. I just learn differently. But that's something I've only really recognised in the last few years.
I have this conversation all the time
with
people.
Yeah.
I was actually speaking to someone else about this in the last few days because kids coming out of school, etc.
Oh, heartbroken for the kids that didn't do well.
But we don't hear about them and we need to hear from them. We need to make sure they're okay. Yeah. We need to show them another way. Mm-hmm. Because I I passed enough exams to go and do my A-levels. That's all I was interested in, just pass enough to go and do it.
Yeah.
I hated it. I just didn't want to do it. I just did it because it was what everybody would told me that you were supposed to do.
Same.
And I just wanted to work. And that's what I did. But I also didn't learn from a book. Never have, never will.
Wow.
This is how I learn. I speak to people all the time. I grew up in pubs.
Oh, nice.
So I sat with people every night.
That's an education,
and I pulled their brain.
Wow.
And I listened, and that's how I learned. When I went to do European law.
Love that.
A decade ago.
Sounds fantastic.
I found it really difficult. So I would meet the class. I'd always arrange to meet the class an hour before class, and we'd sit in the cafe across the road talking.
And that's when you'd do all the learning?
That would be my learning.
No way. Clever. Why didn't I think of that?
But you have to find your way.
You do.
Oh, it took me a long, long time.
You do.
And a long, long time to get over the fact that because I wasn't good at school, to think that I just wasn't good.
Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
The world is set up against you if you're not a traditional type of learner.
Yes.
If you can't just remember things
like
that, and forget it if you've got dyslexia or any of those things.
Yeah.
It's
so
extra
at
tough.
school, did you think, was there ever a time in school, like for me, I'd look out the window and go, I'm going to be a choreographer anyway. What am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? Was there time at school when you thought, I want to do this anyway? This is for me.
I'm not sure really. When I think back at it, probably other people might say certain things, but I think I just wanted to not do the expected thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. So if everybody was going to go and be teachers, I was like, well, I'm not going to be a teacher. I'm going to do something else. Even though I probably would be an amazing art teacher or something like that. I remember just being like, well, I know I want to see the world. I want to travel a bit. But then in what circumstance, I had no idea. I love the idea once of becoming an air hostess. I love the idea. And then I realised why. It was just to travel. It wasn't to serve drinks.
Yeah.
It was just to get out. And then also I got into uni, did all I had to, and it was just to move out. It was just like,
Okay.
It's like I've grown up in Birmingham, been in this place my whole life. I'm now 18. Where can I go? If I get into uni,
did you go to?
It was a polytechnic turn uni to Montford, Leicester to Montford uni. But the first year, and we still got such terrible results. Oh, no, it wasn't that I got terrible results. It's because I got in, like after everyone gets the results and you're clamming for places. All the places had been taken in Leicester for the first year. So I ended up going all the way up north to Lincolnshire.
Oh, wow.
So I was in Lincolnshire for a year. I knew nothing. I remember my grandma, Uncle Trevor, Mum. I can't remember if Uncle Ainsley was there, my boyfriend at the time. They all dropped me off. And I remember being like, oh my God, so I've got to stay here. I was so excited initially.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, I'm here. And I don't have all my luxuries from my mom's house. And I remember being like, oh, but I got into it. And, then you meet people from all over the world. And I had a good time. I did a lot of learning of, I guess, who I am, my skills. I didn't realise I was so sensitive and delicate and all of this kind of stuff until experiencing uni. And then you sort of go, because at home in your hometown, you're like,
yeah,
all right, John, all right, Dave, all right, Mary, let's do this. You're all right. Do you want to play? Do you want to go to the cinema? Do you want to hang out? Real confident. And then you're in this new place and there's people speaking different languages from different countries. And you're just like, wow.
I think that's that expectation of people. You think that everybody else knows everything as well. Yeah. And then they think you know everything. And then you realise that actually you're kids.
Yeah, you're all kids, then nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
But then I remember feeling so growing up, as I said, my family's Jamaican. And that was all I knew. So I wouldn't know, now I've had my DNA test. My DNA is connected to about 66 countries and about 50 of them are in Africa. Right? The continent of Africa.
Yeah.
So I know all this great stuff about who I am now. When I was 18, I knew nothing. I just knew Jamaica. All I know is Jamaica, Duns River Fall, Saltfish and Ackee, all of these traditions. And now I'm in university and then I meet someone from Zimbabwe, from Nigeria, Malawi. And I'm just like, Zambia. I'm like, oh, hello. How's it going? And you just feel really like, oh my God, I know nothing.
Yes.
And then I had this meeting with, and then I felt this, you know, you want to belong, you know, that feeling, you're a teenager. I remember being like, I want to belong. Okay. Oh, the African Caribbean Society, that should be for me. Let's go and see what they're up to. And I remember like a load of Nigerian lads being like, you ain't African, you ain't this. We're the Nigerians, we're the top dogs. Now, if I'd have known, I'd been like, excuse me, son.
Yeah.
I'm actually 80% Nigerian, so jog on and take seats. Do you know that kind of way? But at the time I was like,
step aside.
Am I not really African? So who am I? What do they mean? Do I not belong here? You know, all these stupid, ridiculous things that we ask ourselves when we're young, very probably classic immigrant-y questions that come into your head. And then I think this search for identity, I think then becomes, because, you know, if you're from a family where everybody just work hard, you know, the classic family.
Yeah.
You come to this country, you work hard, you're consistent, you save your money, you get a mortgage.
That we deserve this.
Yes,
prove that we
work
deserve
hard.
that.
We work even harder than the original English people here because, you know, we're not from here and we want them to think the best of us. And if you get upset, don't say anything. Just, you know, all of these rules and things. I remember being like, I kind of just want to you know, sing maybe or create. And, you know, so I would be such a outsider within the family I'm from. So I'm like a black sheep of a black family. It's weird. Like, honestly, I swear they all love me, obviously, and they're kind, and my family's a wonderful family. But I do think they just kind of look at me and go, what are you doing?
What are you doing now? Would
you settle down?
Yeah.
Do you know this kind of thing where settling down for me for decades felt like failure?
Okay.
That felt like, what, so I have to stay here now? Like, I might live till I'm 100 and this
Isn't there more?
exact place is what you want me to be? And I was like, oh, hell no, I can't do that. I
so
see
how do you
more.
break that?
I don't know. I don't have broken myself. I had my own. You can break down before you can break up, or whatever those. After the breakdown comes the breakup. Oh, I don't know. What's
the breakup comes the breakdown. Is it not?
Oh, I don't know. But anyway, you know, that kind of thing. I've had to go into myself.
Yes.
Yeah, a bit rude.
I think I know another one.
I had to go into myself.
Yes.
So about 2012, so I finished uni, did all of that. Various boyfriends, failed relationships, disasters, few marriage proposals, disasters. And then I found myself in Kent, in Dover. So I was working for MAC Cosmetics for 10 years. Loved it, flew up the ladder. That was my first time being in a job. And I was like, oh my God, I'm doing well here.
Yeah.
People appreciate my vibe and what I bring. And I'm actually a good makeup artist as well. I'm teaching. And oh my God, they're sending me to LA twice a year. I've been Puerto Rico. I've been here. I was just like, New York, concrete jungle, where dreams are made of. I was literally living my best life. Company car, American Express card, like all of these great things. And then you know what it's like after a bit. I was like, oh, but I'm living in hotels.
Yeah.
Oh.
That always sounds so much better than it is.
Oh, at the first time, I'd be ringing my Mom, look, this is the chocolate on the pillow.
Yeah.
You know, my friends, it's like this. Oh, this is the menu. I just had this kind of steak, had this glass of wine, like giving it all of that. It was brilliant at the beginning, isn't it?
It is.
I was like, this is amazing.
I did the same.
Did you?
And then after a little while, you're just like, this is very depressing and very lonely.
I'm so sad. I'm like, you know, and then I'd see like all my friends, like even having their pets, you can't really have pets.
Yeah.
When you're living that lifestyle, even relationships, like I kind of became a makeup artist in a relationship. Then, you know, halfway through, it didn't work. And then you start another one and then it's different. You're traveling. It's just hard to have that consistency. I'd be missing. Even now, I feel a bit sad that I miss like my cousins' little birthday parties or little moments. I do miss that.
Yeah.
And I've started to feel that a lot more now. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to come back to Dublin. So at least I can be near the airport and I can fly home to Brum.
Yeah.
For the small things. It's not even necessarily the big things. Sometimes the small things I don't want to miss.
And I always find, and you may feel the same, you know, as the person that left, it's your responsibility to go back.
Yeah, because they're going to be a bit like, well, my family would be like, oh, Ireland, oh, you know, and they'd be like, oh, so it's the euro. It's not pounds over there. And I'm just like, read a book, kids. Yeah. What have you done? The English education system.
Just tap your card.
Oh, no, but the English education system has failed. History has failed. My family. It's failed my family. And
it failed. I think it's failed everybody. You know, I moved to Ireland. I didn't know anything about Ireland.
I had to research it. I was scared someone was going to pull me up and say, "But you know about Northern Ireland?" I was like, right, in 1916.
Yeah.
Like I did loads of research just for that reason.
Yeah. I just put a Welsh accent on for 6 months.
I still drop into a Jamaican one sometimes. If anyone looks a bit racist, I'm like, I'm just a Jamaican Bob Marley, Usain Bolt. I just literally keep on walking.
It's handy to have these things in your pocket, though. It is.
Trust me, it's helped me out a few times.
Yeah.
If anyone starts giving me any grief. But yeah, sorry, what did you even ask me?
So back to Mac. So you're in Kent.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't so much fun.
Oh, yes. So then after 10 years, it was like, no, it was time to part ways. And then I was living in Kent and Dover, right by the sea. And I remember just like, I had a little convertible Beetle and I just like drive by the water and be like, oh, this is so lovely, but no clue.
Yeah.
Really where I wanted to be. And then I'd realised, so at this age, I'm probably 30 something. And I've just gone, failed relationships. At the time, I'd think failed career, even though they weren't actually fails, but I considered them fails. Haven't seen my family for a long time, feel a bit disconnected. Who am I? And I was like, yeah, who are you? And that is when 2012 was the year I started my journey to actually just maybe, not saying forgetting what my family had taught me, but beginning my own journey of like what I'm about, what the world's about, what do I want to be about, and how to get there.
And adding those layers on.
Yeah, because I kind of was clueless and just a normal human being, just following what I was expected to do or the opposite of what I was expected to do. And then that's not great either because you're just doing it because they don't want you to do it. Like, what's that about? That's not good either, is it? So
I think we've done that. Like, and I think that's great when you're really, really young. And it's like, I will define. I mean, my husband still does that.
Oh, I love that.
But he does a little bit.
I love that.
You know, there's certain people in your life you'll need to make them feel that they let them think it's their idea. And things could take 7 or 8 years to get done, but it always has to be that person's choice. Do you know what I mean? All you can do is plant seeds.
Yes.
And I completely agree. I think you never lose what you always had, but it's adding those layers. It's wrapping the gifts to make something even more special.
Make something more special, for sure. I agree with that. But then it's funny when you start to look back, isn't it? You go, well, all the clues are there when you look back. Like I would always be, like even at my job, I was just chatting to my friend Sarah Ryan about this just last week. So when I worked at Mac and when they sent us to international trainings, I would be the one. So imagine there's a big UK team, right?
Yes.
All the Londoners, and London, Mac, Harrods, Selfridges, what you know about that? All of that gang, right? And then there'd be little old me from Birmingham who used to work in the London team, was already, they'd be like, oh, was there cows where you're from? You know, that type of thing. And then...
the cows.
And then I would be at these international events and I'd be sitting with the Japanese table. I'd be like, oh, what makeup products are popular where you are? And I'm speaking with the Koreans, and I'd be speaking with the Saudi team or the South Africans. So I just found it so fascinating.
Yeah.
To talk to all these people. I still have on my Facebook friends from like Mac International. And I'm sure to my dying day, I'll be like, happy birthday, how's it going? Remember that event? And I've always loved it. I've always loved it. And I think by connecting, I was never shy to connect with lots of different people. And I think that's the gift. But at the time, I didn't realize it was a gift. The Londoners were like, what's she doing? Why are you sitting there with them? They'd be like, what are you doing? And it's only when you get older, you go, they were insecure.
Yeah. But the gift that you were getting, you were passing on as well.
Yes, having a chat with the lads. I loved it.
Absolutely. And then when someone was stuck and they'd be like, oh, do you know anybody? You'd go, hang on, I'll give you a gift. I actually know that person because I spent the time to talk to and get to know that person.
But that can go against you a bit as well. Now, let's keep it real and honest in the real world. I think sometimes if you are quite... what would you say, friendly, unafraid of difference, people can go not like that because they're like, well, why are you being so different?
Yeah.
Why don't you stay in this safe place with us? Why are you going to speak to the Japanese team? We don't speak Japanese. I'm like, yeah, they barely speak English, but you know, I've learned how to say super kawaii from listening to Gwen Stefani's album.
Okay.
I would just be like...
I actually used to have a friend years ago that used to say to me, why'd you have to get involved? And I go, what? She's like, we're at a concert. Why have you got to talk to everybody at the concert?
I find it interesting.
Like, well, because the lady smiled at me. So I just started a conversation. But why'd you have to? And I'd be like, do you know what? You're so miserable. Do you know what I mean?
Your friend probably just wants you to speak to them.
No, I know. But like, I like to talk to everyone because I know her and I've got the information. And I want more information. I'm always looking for more information. I'm always
constant seeker.
Well, I just think
Indiana Jones kind of vibes.
Kind of. I just think everybody has something so special inside of them.
They do.
And if you don't talk to them, there's some people that don't talk because they don't think people want them to, or they don't feel special enough to.
Yes.
And it only takes one person to say, oh, wow, that's interesting. Tell me more.
Yeah.
For them to feel special and important and actually for you to learn something.
Yeah.
Just think it. For me, that sounds so simple, but it's not simple for everyone.
It's really not simple for everyone. And that literally what you've just said has been a really difficult concept for me to accept. Because I'd be like, why are you like this?
Yeah.
Why are you being so mean to me? Why? Like I'd be constantly like this. Because like you said, I'm like, duh, this is kind of basic stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I watch the news now, I'm like, okay, you two don't get on. Have a chat about it. You don't have to murder each other. There's ways to work this out, lads. Do you know what I mean? And I just constantly think we complicate, add layers, we add our bias, our prejudice, or this one thing happened to that person, so it will probably happen to me as well. One person got robbed, got pickpocketed at a concert, so I'm not going to talk to any strangers. Do you know, all of this type of thing. And like I struggle with people that think that way because that's not a world I want to live in. Yeah. If that really was the case, I ain't going to make it. Not for much longer.
I have a 13-year-old niece that has the most crazy resting bitch face you've ever seen in your life.
At 13?
At 13. And we were going to, the trolley needed to go back in Lidl's. And I said to her, come with me and we'll put the trolley back together. And I said, what's wrong with you? And she was like looking at people with this face. And I said, what's wrong with you? And she goes, I just don't like strangers. And I said, I wouldn't worry about the strangers because I think they're all absolutely scared shitless of you because of your face. And she was like, so she started laughing. And I said, just give people a chance. That's all I'll ever ask of you. Keep yourself safe, but just please give people a chance. Don't start with that facial expression. And she thought it was hilarious at the time. But I thought, there's sad. It was just like, but I think we all did it at a point. I definitely did it. I did it with my body. I did it, I kept, there's lots of protections I put around me in my life, without a doubt. But growing up in pubs and stuff, I didn't really have a choice. You had to get on with people. Do you know what I mean? My mum and dad would be like, I just lost as a fiver, get upstairs. So, you would have got on with people. But it's a hard one. And I think as we grow up, so for you, like as you're working all of this out and you're in your convertible and you're like, there's got to be more and I'm going to start sort of working on me. How does it end up in Ireland? I want to say thank you so much to Ella and Joe, our sponsors of this episode of Bebel Podcast. Ella and Joe is all about bringing a joy and vibrancy to skincare. Each product is inspired by nature and boosted by science, designed to deliver the most amazing results, but also to be kind to your skin. It is luxury moments that brighten up our day. And as always, I want to bring it back to me with my two hero products. The 3-in-1 Hyaluronic Spritz, it stays in my bag all the time. And if you haven't tried Melt Away, then it's a must. It's the most beautiful cleanser. And don't forget, all Bebel listeners can get 20% off all full-size products online. Just use the code Bebel at checkout. So thank you, Ella and Joe, for sponsoring this series of Bebel Podcast.
Oh, God. Well, it was a lot of mess, to be honest. There's been a lot of mess. There's been a lot of, actually, maybe it's the way you look at it. You could just say that was just the way it was always meant to be. But at the time, it felt like a lot of mess because after Ireland, I was like, I'm going to fulfill my dream. I'm going to move to Paris. Obviously, classic Sex and the City inspired. Yeah. The new generation will say Emily in Paris, I assume, even though I just can't watch that too. And I can't even watch Sex and the City anymore. It's embarrassing. But anyway, I actually moved to Paris after. So I went, imagine, Birmingham, did Scotland for a bit, I was at Edinburgh, back to Birmingham.
And were you doing all different jobs as you were moving
This
around?
is still with MAC
all
Cosmetics.
Mac?
Yeah, it was like, you know what it's like.
So
there was
kind of
like a juniory role that I did, and then there was like a higher role. Then they were like, Nadine, you'd be great with the London audience.
Okay.
They'll love you. You like all of this. And I think I covered maternity in Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how that happened. So that's, and I just sort of, went, okay.
Yeah.
I just kept saying yes. And then I ended up in Kent, no longer working for MAC, and I was like, right, okay, I need to fulfill one of my dreams. What's one of my dreams? Move to Paris. So I packed up my apartment, like everything was like, au revoir, all of that kind of thing.
Oh.
I got myself a job. I was delighted. Now, it was just a maternity cover, but I was like, oh, this is brilliant. I said, I'm going to go earlier. I'm going to put my CV around. I'm going to get some work for Paris Fashion Week. This is going to be fantastic. I'm going to keep practicing my French. And then I was on the Eurostar, and I actually had the saddest call. So imagine you've packed up your life, ready to do a new start, new country. I'm not fluent in French. At this stage, it was just like what I learned at school, and a few extra bits I'd learned, So I'm on the Eurostar, and I get a call, and I'm pretty sure her name was Veronique. Nadine, this is Veronique, please call when you can, And I'm like, okay. But we're just going into the tunnel bit. And when I got out the tunnel, I checked my phone. Literally, Paris said, welcome, you are in Paris. Check my phone, join the Wi-Fi, whatever. And it was the saddest call. Very sadly, respectfully, the lady who I was covering for maternity leave actually lost her child. And it's so interesting how immediately I was like, well, that's absolutely fine. And they basically said, she's working through it the best she can. But one of the things is she's going to come back to work sooner, because I assumed that was her mechanism, coping. To this day, I think of her from time to time and hope she's okay. But it's weird how, even though I'd packed up my whole life, I was like, well, this has happened to this lady, so that's way more important. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you so much for telling me.
Ça va.
Yeah, oui, ça va. Now, they did give me a bit of freelance work.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool, a few little bits and pieces. But and then I applied for MAC in Paris, and they just said, your French is just too rubbish. We can't hire you at this stage. I was like, what? Okay. And then, so I was just doing lots of freelance, but surviving, do you know, that kind of way? And just loving. I love that whole, it wasn't even a full year. I loved it. I went to the museum every day. I drew, I created makeup looks. I ate bread and cheese when I didn't have a lot of money. I just walked along the La Seine. It was fantastic. I actually had a membership to the Louvre, like a membership. They respected me as an artist. They were like, you're an artist, so you can have this. And I was like, oh my God. It was like 30 quid for the year. I was like, oh my God, a member of the Louvre. What? So I'd literally bring all my books and computer and laptop and stuff, and I would sit in the Louvre and have like admin days. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm having an admin day in the Louvre. I'd be crying of enjoyment. Stunning. I just loved it. And then I had a call from my mother, which is very sad. She's okay, but it was telling me that she had cancer. And I was just like, oh my God. So I'd never had, I've lost a lot of people in my life, but of course, when it's your parents, it's quite a shock. And I was more annoyed that she knew she had it when I went home for Christmas or something, and she purposely waited for Christmas to pass, my birthday to pass, blah, 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 make sure she got all her appointments. And then she told me, and, so for a while I went back and forth, and then the money started running out. So I started getting the bus instead of the plane or the train. And then I moved home because I had this sudden, my mother's dying.
I need to be with her.
I know. And I know it wasn't about me, but this is how I responded. So I moved back home. Jesus, it was terrible. It was the worst thing. I should have stayed in France. It was a nightmare. My mum was like, I don't want any help. I don't want you here. You don't need to be here. And she was very much like, I'm going to fight this myself.
Okay.
And I've got to respect her. That's her vibe. But I was like, let me help you. I was like a puppy running around after her, which the rejection of that is quite hard, because you go in, I know this is your illness and I know you're going through this, but I want to help you. But she's going, but I don't want you to help me. So it's this constant clash.
You're at loss, aren't you?
Yeah. And then I'm kind of like my mom, it's weird, But anyway, 2 years into it, she was in remission for a couple of years. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. You seem grand.
Yeah.
I was like, before this, I was in France, so I'm going to go. And that's when I decided to move to Ireland.
And had you
because
ever
it was
been here
closer.
before?
Judy Wong, I think you had her on here.
Yeah.
So Judy and I became friends. I worked at Mac. Now we haven't seen each other for years now, but we were friends at Mac. And I remember again, she'd be one of the people I'd meet, and I'd be like, this girl looks kind of Chinese, but she's got an Irish accent. I've got to speak to her. Who is she? What's going on? I'm like, hey. And she'd be like, oh, I'm from Dublin. I was born in the Coombe. Giving it all of that. Thought she was fantastic. And then she was doing some gig and she was like, here, do you want to come and assist me? I'm doing this makeup job. And I was like, yeah, grand. She's like, oh, we'll sort out the flight for you. And then the first time I came, it was just so easy to fly in. Remember, from Birmingham, the airport's quite close.
Yeah.
Straight into Dublin. I can't remember if I got a taxi or the bus or the faster
at that
bus.
Time, the bus would have been quick. Taxis weren't that expensive then.
Yeah. So I was like, it was just kind of easy. And I was like, oh. And I was like, everyone speaks English. So at that time, I didn't have the energy. I was probably still mourning this like cancer chapter of my life. So I didn't have the energy to even think about learning another language. Now, I didn't really think that fully through when I moved to Donegal or to certain parts of Dublin.
Yeah.
It feels like another language.
It is.
I'm like, what was that now? What was that? Sorry? And then I felt so British. I'm like, oh my God, you sound so British, Nadine, what are you doing? But so from that one trip, I thought, Dublin, Ireland, that's grand. Now, I'd obviously known about Northern Ireland before, but obviously experiencing the Euro and everything, because I was from France, coming in from, I was like, I know about the Euro. Euro, that is fine, oui, ça va. Dublin, it is like français, you know? Yeah. So I was cool. And that's when I decided to move here. And at the time, I think I got Ryanair flights for like maybe £8 or something stupid.
Birmingham used to, back in the day, super cheap.
Birmingham to Dublin was so cheap. And I was like, then I thought, well, if my mum gets sick, I could fly home with Ryanair. Or Aer Lingus, I can either, if I was desperate for some reason, get a boat.
Yeah.
Do you know, I could drive, I could rent a car and drive. There was always ways. And I felt a bit more connected.
Yeah.
So that's why Ireland was like an easy option, really. And then, I don't know what happened then. It just kind of, and then Ireland just happened.
It did just happen.
It literally just, I can't even tell you, like within a couple of years, within a couple of years. So remember, makeup artistry is my background, right? That's my main thing on my CV. So I moved to Ireland. Judy gets me a gig with Preen Hair Salon. Shout out to all the Preeners. And then before you know it, I'm meeting all these editors because, you know, it was such a bougie salon in the middle of Dublin, Dame Street. So then all the editors would come in from all of the magazines, from Irish, Tatler, even to the What's Now. Is it What's Now? You know, all of that. So then I end up doing makeup for the presenters.
Okay.
When they're doing shoots, or like Lucy Kennedy, she must be like you again. I've done her makeup so many times because she was on the front of everything. And like me again. And then before you know it, Sophie, what's her name? Sophie, who's a writer now as well. Oh gosh, because the surname's just lost me there, sorry.
You're grand.
Sophie asked me, I think because I was such crack, and I was just like, how's it going, guys? Because I'm now delighted. My mum's alive. I'm like, my mum's alive. Yeah. But obviously you don't say that to people.
No.
You're just like, how's it going? I'm like, whoa, you know, everything's cool.
I'm going to bring this happiness to everything.
Yeah, I was like, and then I thought also, after I think the sadness of that, you sort of go, here, we could be dead tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So I had this really, probably a bit magnetic energy at that time. And people just asked me to do stuff and I go, okay, why not? Not a bother. So then before you know it, I'm in magazines like plus size wearing a bikini.
Yeah.
Like literally the front of Life magazine.
Amazing.
Well.
We needed that.
Well, it said stuff like, I think how the article was written, it was like, plus size ambassadors or body confidence and I was like, when did I become an ambassador?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
advocate.
I was like, okay, I think I'm just all right in a bikini, like it's grand.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know about that whole movement really.
Yeah.
I'm just here living my life. So then I started doing that, and then the funniest thing, I remember going into work in this hair salon and someone says, TV3, because was it TV3 then? TV3 call for you. I was like, grand, yeah. I'm thinking they just want me to do someone's makeup or maybe to work there or something. So then I called them back and they were like, oh no, I'd like you to come in and interview. I was like, grand, when, blah, blah, blah. So then I went in and they were like, we want you to interview to become a presenter for Expose.
Excellent.
And that's when I was like, okay. So this is quite hilarious. So then they said, I want you to pretend that Meghan and Harry are visiting Ireland. I think they must have been engaged then, or it was coming up, they were coming to Ireland or something. That was maybe 2018, I think. I don't know, maybe. Don't know how long they've been.
17 or 8. Yeah, a little bit earlier than that, I think.
Is it a bit earlier than that? A
little bit earlier.
So I was just like, oh, yeah. Just literally saying anything. Like, oh, yeah, lovely. Are you very That's it. I was talking to the fans in the crowd. Like, what would you say to them? I was like, oh, my gosh, amazing. You're excited. Just like you, just having the normal chats.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's great. Are you free next week? I was just like, what? Okay. To talk shite to people. And they seemed to love it. Like it went down really well. Yeah. But then when I looked at the facts, I felt a bit weird because I felt like I've been in this country 2 years and I'm on like one of the longest fashion and beauty shows that the country's ever had in like that type of show. And I thought, you couldn't find anyone Irish to do this? I find that a bit weird. Do you know that?
But I think it was at a time as well, I certainly felt it from when I moved here in 2000, at that time that people were, starting to become, the place was becoming a little bit more multicultural.
Okay.
So maybe,
maybe hit that box a little bit.
Yeah, and also
maybe.
people wanted to feel represented. I don't know if I felt represented from some of the people that were shown on that show.
Well, that's the funny thing, because the next part of it is, the other presenters were all models, like proper models. Like your Glenn Gilson, like all these people. And they were like very slim models. And there'd be Nadine. And obviously, fantastically fabulous.
Fantastically fabulous, but I have to say.
I did not fit any of the markers that any of the other presenters had.
You fitted my markers.
Oh, thanks, babe.
No, but you did.
Your markers.
I think it was. Nice. I really remember that time because I remember thinking, oh, thank God. At last.
You know, I've been called Alison Hammond so many times. I remember Alison Hammond a few years after she was interviewed on, what's your man's name? Not the Late Late, but the other one that was like the Late Late, the shorter guy, blonde.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Oh my God, it's lost his name. Lovely guy.
Yeah.
So shorter guy.
Oh, I was going to say, the tall guy with the suit. No.
Anyway, we'll come
think
to
of
it.
him.
We'll come for it. We'll insert name here. And then I remember she was on an Irish show and it was a really good interview. And I literally got 2 text messages after going, you were great on that.
Oh my God.
But then I started to think, we are both from Birmingham. We're both black women. We've both got a bit of beat on us. Yeah. Maybe that's, I can
Mind
see where
when I was growing up, everybody thought I was
blur.
Alison Moyet or Dawn French because there wasn't many fat people around. Do you know what I mean?
But now you said Dawn French though, like her youth when she was young.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you've got prettiness like Dawn.
I didn't
I'll take that as a good compliment.
I didn't mind. She's hilarious. I think. Do you know what I mean? I just take the comedy bit.
Oh.
But that association, I'd be like...
accent, brown hair.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I've had a bob at the time, maybe.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, you were definitely Dawn.
Yeah, definitely Dawn.
Yeah.
But that's so funny. And it's funny that you felt that way. I really do remember, and I really do remember feeling at last.
Crazy.
So whoever made the decision made exactly the right decision.
But then the show was cancelled in 2019, which is a shame because it'd been going so long and that was all very sad. And of course, people move on and do different things and the TV world changed. People say to me all the time, I'd love to see you back on TV. And I'm like, when was the last time you watched TV?
Yeah.
And I mean that respectfully for my ex-colleagues and everything. Yeah. But it's just not, I don't think at the moment, a growing business. And I generally don't see a place for me anymore. Like at the time, like if I'm honest, like say Island AM, say if they said, Nadine, we'd love to do Island AM. Like, lads, that's home in the morning every day. You'd be there at like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 4:30.
Yeah, you'd be up in the middle of the night.
Every day. I'm just like, oh. And then, like respectfully, you can't say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of scripted. So it's like, right, Nadine, this guest is coming on. We want you to say this or, you know, don't mention this, don't mention that. So there's a little bit of your personality that you can't really get into. Now, Expose, I have to say, I don't know if the producers were like, we don't give a F, right? But they would just keep in bits that I thought, I can't believe you kept that in.
Yeah.
So
Like that.
have I told you about the tanning stories?
No.
Okay. For some reason, I'm not sure if it was all the other presenters were just off having babies and doing different things in their career. But as you know, Ireland is, by a population, one of the biggest consumers of tans and producers of tans, right? So who do you think they sent to all of these tan launches with, you know, Love Island guests and famous different people? Nadine. So I'd be there, and I'd never ever forget interviewing Yohan from Not Girls Aloud. She's married to an Irish guy. She always fluctuates in weight. Everyone always talks about her weight. She used to be in a band, blonde. Did she not marry someone from Westlife?
Oh, the Westlife girl is...
Kerry Katona.
Oh, Kerry Katona.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love her.
Yeah.
In person, I mean, I can see who the media put out there. I think in person, a legend of a woman. Yeah. Absolutely. And how she just keeps coming back. She's like, yeah, I failed. Coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that didn't quite work out. Coming back. It's like, go on. Like, I love her. But imagine me interviewing her. So she's the ambassador of the tan.
Yeah.
Now, I won't say the names in case they're not in a relationship, you know, if they're not a partnership anymore or anything. And she's like, I'm just like, so Kerry, you know, tell us, how do you feel in your tan? She's like, oh, I feel great. And she was like, I just feel so like, you know, a little bit slimmer when I've got my tan on. You know, I feel great. You know, I'm not so white. I'm not so tanned and all of this. And I was like, wow, you'd love to know the real size of me, love. I'm telling you now. So we'd have all these jokes. Yeah. And then like, she'd be like, huh? And the producers would keep it in.
Oh, I love it.
And I'd be there with all the Love Island Towie people. Yeah. And they'd be as black as me, some of them. And I'm just like, Jamaican, right? Like saying random stuff. And then keep it in. Brilliant. I'd be like, oh my God. And then it's like, I remember looking at my schedule going, why are they always sending Nadine to the tan gigs? But I think it's because I could have the crack and look somebody in the face that's had about 50 procedures and still find something to chat to them about. Oh, even though in my head though, I'd be going, girl, yeah. I think it's time to pull back.
And as I said, we are quite lucky. Tan has evolved quite well since those times. Well, like, because I can imagine what actual colours they were, because we were very orange for many years walking around, bless us.
But you know what? We all do. I always give out to my white friends who tan, but I say, look, we all do what we need to make ourselves feel better. Yeah. But I think it is good when you can to assess why you feel better being browner. Yeah. Like, why is it you're like, oh, but I feel better? Yeah. Is it because you... like there's no positivity connected to white skin at all. Like what positivity is there?
No, it used to be a sign of like affluence.
Yeah, you didn't have to be out in the streets.
You'd be out in the sun and etc. Yeah. I'm the sun god. Like I love the sun. I do though. I do. I love it. Like I can't help myself. I love a bit of a tan.
Guess, you can see your veins if you don't have any tan.
No,
you can see your veins.
I'm very fortunate. I'm not. I don't have. I'm not Irish skin. I'm not
going to use the word sallow then. Sorry.
Sallow. I don't know.
People use that word sallow. I only heard that word here. But
my dad looked Italian. Like my dad was very dark. My mum is really pale. Oh. Okay. So when we were on holiday as kids, people would always speak to him in the foreign languages. And
could he speak anything?
No, he'd be like.
And is he like classic English man?
Welsh.
Welsh man.
Classic Welsh. But Welsh men are...
You never know. There could be a mix of anything.
Well, very dark-sea Welsh men.
Okay.
Maybe it was the Tashes that were around in the 70s as well.
Maybe. You just never know. You'd have to do a DNA test to check that out.
I must actually. I'd say there's definitely Italian in this. The Italians all came to Wales.
Okay. Well.
That's why we have the best ice cream.
Best ice cream. Okay.
Gelato.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I don't know, because I knew a girl here. I'm not going to say her name because she'd be still upset about it. And she was like you, I'm convinced I'm Italian, Spanish, something. I'm convinced. And she's like, Nadine, we're probably cousins, like all of this. And she messaged me and I could feel the pain and fear and sadness in her. 99.9 Irish. Yeah.
That's good breeding though. That's good breeding.
She was so upset.
Oh, bless.
And I was like, well, why are you upset? We're so weird about these things. But yeah, my career really springboarded, took a complete new direction. I wasn't expecting when I was in Ireland. And I realised that I'd built up this courage. I built up this not caring what people think energy, which I definitely had more of when I was a makeup artist, strangely. But I think maybe triggered by starting to do the work on myself.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so you're not a bad person, or, okay, those relationships didn't work out, but, you're still here.
Yeah.
You still got time. You still got chances. Just be sound. Maybe enjoy your life. Maybe not take things too seriously. And then I just did that. And then I saw a Shonda Rhimes TED Talk, and she was like, for a year, I just said yes. I was like, oh, I might try that. That's when I said yes. That's when I found myself in a bikini, interviewing like lots of different people with expose, like doing random things. Yeah. And I don't regret any of them.
No,
I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. I think a yes year is as important as a no year.
Oh, see, I never thought of a no year.
Oh, I've done them both.
Oh, never thought of a no year.
Yeah. And in fact, a no year can be more difficult.
I think that'd be really hard.
Yeah, very difficult.
No. And I don't have to explain why. Just no.
Well, do you know, it was yogis that taught me that. When I first went into that arena of movement, and Pilates is very different to yoga, but I worked with a lot of yoga people. It was the first time I heard people say things like, actually, no, that doesn't work for me.
Nice phrase.
Yeah.
Love that. But
initially when I first heard it, I was like, the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, what do you mean that doesn't work for you? What about for everybody else?
Yeah, Irish people don't really do that.
Yeah. But that's your no.
Yeah.
And I think both are as important, but a yes year is a lot of fun.
Yes, yeah, but it can take you places like, oh, damn, how did I get here? So yes, you're right. But the no part is an interesting one, isn't it? Yeah, I've got a little bit better at the no's, but then it still stings a bit. I'm still a bit like, oh God, I feel bad for that person or that company.
No, absolutely. Because we're people that are connectors, so you always got to think of the person's feelings on the other end.
The other end, yeah,
but
the empathy.
It is tough. So how did you feel when all that sort of, when that was cancelled, did you know? Were people coming to you saying you could do this instead?
Yeah.
Or
well, the pandemic happened.
Oh, wow.
It was like straight, So literally, like the end of 19.
Yeah.
Then obviously I was kind of exhausted. I did a pantomime. That took
amazing.
Pantomime is not for me. Would you? I can make a call. It wasn't for me. I was just like, this again. Hi, kids. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm dead. Because people say to me, you should do children's TV. I don't know. I can't keep it up. It's so much energy. And if you're doing a few shows,
how tiring that is.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
But a TV show is an hour or whatever. Pantomime's like physically, you got to be there. So I'd say I didn't find it easy, to be honest. I didn't. Now, I didn't hate it, but it was grand, do you know, that kind of way. But I wasn't, and I'm sure they could all tell that, she probably won't be asked back next year. And that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. And I like my Christmas. I didn't have my Christmas. I had to give my Christmas away.
Yeah.
But I do love how much Ireland loves the panto at Christmas. I think it's such a beautiful event. Families coming together. Like my mum would never take me to pantos. That's not a Jamaican thing. Pantomime. Got pantomime in your room. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
You put a show on for the family at Easter or whatever, but it's just not a thing that we would do. So it was all very new to me. But it was great to have experienced it. And then it was the pandemic. So I was living with Minnie Byrne then. Minnie, who's sadly passed away in 2021 at the age of 96. And by living with her, by the way, I should mention this, elder home share, right? And it's something that I'm getting into again. This is a program that I think is one of the most beautiful things that we need. So it's simply matching up a single person, me and my dog, with an elderly person. So, like when...
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's amazing. Elder Home Share. Saoirse, you should have her on. Yeah. She's a very interesting character. She's so interesting. It's called Elder Home Share. So when I was doing all this media stuff, remember media stuff, money's not guaranteed. It's like, you can do this many shifts a month or a week. It's not like a regular salary. And I was used to getting a regular salary. Yes. So what I realised was, I was like, oh God, rent is my biggest outgoing. The only way I can stay in this media world is if I bring my rent down. And then I heard of this elder home share. And what you do is they match you, you're guarded vetted, you meet each other, you meet the families, and they pair you with an elderly person. So Minnie's husband sadly had passed away about 24 years ago. All her kids are grown, like she's in her 90s. All her kids are grown. They've got kids. She had grandkids, great grandkids.
Yes.
And, you know, so her family would pop into her every day. Now, she wasn't sick. So it wasn't like, oh, she'd be in a nursing home. She wasn't. She would walk up and down the stairs. What she wanted was company.
Yeah.
What she wanted to do was feel safe when she went to bed.
Yeah.
And like that's what Saoirse, that runs Elder Home Share, has done. She's brought that together. So you pay a very small amount to say, you know, this is to help with the bills or whatever. Yeah. And you live in the house. You're amazing. Not a carer.
Yeah.
But you're a caring person, if that makes sense. So the only obligation really is just to have the chat. So in the morning, Minnie, what are you up to? She'd be like, oh, are you working today? Where are you going? You know, having the little chats and be like, oh, Minnie, I went on a date. Oh, it was a disaster. And you have the chats and she's like, oh, cup of tea, like lovely. And then I met all her family. So literally all of Minnie's family now, I feel like are my Irish family. Because they look out for me. They're like, how are you getting on? Where are you going? Blah, blah. And it was such a lovely thing to do.
So you were living with her all the way through that?
Yeah, D12 girl. I became a Walkinstown's D12 lady. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, proudly now. I have to call myself a D12 girl now.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so did that move happen when Minnie passed away? Or?
Yeah, well, I decided it was the January. I've got this thing about 1st of Jan.
Yeah.
Let's go. Time for something new. So everything was great with Minnie and I loved being in Dublin, but I remember saying to myself when I moved to Ireland, I want to see Ireland.
Yes.
But yet I've been in Dublin for 6 years.
Okay.
I've seen nothing. Do you know that kind of way? I've seen nothing. So that's when I decided, 1st of Jan, I'm going to move to Donegal.
Amazing.
And I just Googled, went on Daft, was like, what can I afford to rent? Okay. And I found like a little house, perfect, beautiful views. And then I just said, here, we'll go check out the other part of the country. My God, is it a different part of the country? It's very different. I've never seen beaches like that in this country before. Obviously, I'd seen Dolly Mountain, the 40 foot, but Dunfanaghy, Marble Hill, Rathmullen, all these other secret beaches. Got nothing on Dublin and all this side of town. So that's how I moved to Donegal. So it went from like media to, I think it's time for a new start. And then, during that time, you see, is when I was kept doing the finding myself stuff. And I found myself with massive fibroids in my body. So I had to almost take a pause to do with health things. And that can really pause you. So I was forced to stop. And then I realised, maybe this is for the best, actually. When was the last time you stopped?
Normally there's a reason why your body needs to stop. And unfortunately it shows itself in lots of different ways.
In lots of different ways. And then through finding my fibroids, which were lost like Pirates of the Caribbean, what did I used to say? The guy with the hat again. Mentioned him earlier.
Just wrote myself. You're as bad as me. You should do film reviews.
What's his name? I'd be terrible. Come on. You know, and he's like, not Hunt for the Red. No, not Pirates of the Caribbean. The other guy, and he has a whip and a hat and he's an architect. Come on.
Oh my God, he's a whip and a hat and an architect.
Yes, come on. He's like famous. And he's like Temple of Doom.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, we're both terrible. Producer, please shout out. Anyway.
Oh my God. Indiana Jones.
Thank you, Jesus Christ, yeah. Hunt for the, and like last, yeah. So I was like, I've lost my cervix because the doctors couldn't find it for a while. And then we realised the fibroids pushed it to the side. And then during that period, I realised that in one of the consultations, the doctor said to me, you may as well have a hysterectomy. And I was like, hold on a minute. You don't know if I want to have a kid or not. So then I spent some time and I decided to try and have a kid. So that whole thing happened.
Yeah.
Then I realised it's so hard doing that alone. I didn't have a partner at the time. And I actually I always say this, I chose Nadine and I didn't choose a child. So I chose that I'm not going to fight this horrendous, difficult battle alone. I'm going to keep myself strong. And look, let's hope in the future you have the strength and the courage, the finances to maybe become a foster carer, foster mother or adopt a child. So that's my goal now.
Amazing.
I know, it's kind of
There's so
mad.
many children that need that.
Oh my God, and I love that. And the thought of a child not having anyone that cares for them just breaks my heart. I'm like, what? How can nobody not care for you? I'll care for you. Hey, come on, let's go. Yeah. This is your school bag. This is your dinner time.
No, I think
let's go.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I don't care if you're white and redhead. I'm your ma.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
You can be 99.9%.
Well, I have got 15% Irish in me.
Oh, wow.
So look, maybe we're related.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Did you love your time in Donegal?
I did.
Yeah.
It was a very healing. I'd say if anyone's out there who needs healing or just to have a bit of a slower life, I would recommend Donegal.
Yeah.
Because you walk out the road and your neighbours are like, how's it going?
Morning to you. Yeah.
And before you know it, you're going to the local craft market to buy your bread and walking at the beaches. And I'd never done that. I'm a city girl. Concrete,
Yes.
flats, maybe a canal if you're lucky. No animals, unless you go to the zoo.
And did you miss the city? Is that what has brought you back? Or
Well, coming back, I think, is that I've healed a good bit.
Yeah.
I'm in a good place. And then it's like, what's next?
Okay.
And my what's next doesn't match Donegal.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit young to fully settle in Donegal, too ambitious.
Yes.
And the opportunities work-wise are just very limited. So now I want to move into the dental arena, dental industry.
Yes, we heard. I love that.
Yes.
This is like just turn the page, another chapter.
Here. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
EMT life, I thought was incredible and amazing. And I realised through becoming an EMT, being in the ambulances and helping people, I enjoyed helping others.
Yes.
And I always feel that whatever work you do, I like the idea of having a concrete job that I can do. But here, I don't want to do it 40 hours a week for the rest of my life.
Okay.
But if I can do 2 days a week, delighted. Them job share things.
Yeah.
Bring it on, sister.
Amazing.
That's what I'm here for. But I like to have a consistent, morning, Mary. Oh, I've put my lunch in the fridge. Oh, go on. How are you getting on? I like that.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're freelancing, it's just you.
No, absolutely.
It's just you. I like the camaraderie. I enjoy being around people. I like having the regular route to work. Oh, God, the bus was delayed today. Couldn't believe it. I love them little chats.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. I get that.
Do you get that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a freelancer, but I have a business that has staff, and I go with my clients, same clients every week, and I think that version is really, really lovely.
It is.
Yeah.
So I like this idea of having this business now. Say if I'm looking 5 years, 10 years time, I like the idea of having this dental practice full of hygienists, like myself being a hygienist, and it's a really safe place where when I speak to people about their teeth, some people are petrified. But then as an EMT, what I learned is if we don't keep on top of our dental health, it can literally poison. You can poison the rest of your body.
All the body.
Yeah.
So
it could
connected.
It could be a sign that there's something else more sinister going on. So it is kind of an important thing. And then like a lot of us, people who maybe don't have as much funds or the education, there's always going to be a sector of people that are going to be impacted a bit more. So in my head, I'm like, oh my God, you can have like free dental day. Like have it every month or every couple of months and like just help a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, listen,
I think it's
love
a nice
it.
way.
I'm here for it.
And then for the rest of the time, I'll be dancing around in nice clothes, walking my dog, getting the hair done, living my best life, being creative,
Amazing.
hopefully encouraging, different products and business services that sit well with my values.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's what I like to see in the future. And then I can become a foster parent.
And we'll all be watching, supporting.
Hope so.
And I can't wait to turn the next page of your book because
it's
there's some
crazy.
great chapters, but I think the best is yet to come.
Oh, that's very kind. I hope you're right. It's very petrifying at the moment.
Don't be scared because the right things come a little bit easier sometimes.
Hope so.
No, I can see it.
Please, God. I'm about to buy some knitting, woolen knitting needles because apparently I've got to work on my dexterity. Can't get the word out now. Do you know what I mean? Like moving your fingers
for
when you get into the dental.
Tom Daly.
Is that what he does knitting?
Oh my God, he's like the knitting genius.
Is he?
Yeah.
Gosh, I thought he was just a great diver.
No, he's a knitting genius.
Okay.
He's amazing.
Good.
You must watch. And actually, I've got a couple of names you can watch as well of people that I know that are great knitters.
Okay.
But
so
it's
that's
all
me.
good for that.
Okay.
And eye hand as well. Really, really important.
Yes. I want to become, and maybe even ambidextrous. Is that the right way?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if I need
hands.
to do a clean scale polish with this hand, I don't look like Captain Hook.
Well, I can't wait. You better open. I want to be your first customer.
Maybe you might want to be the 100th.
No, I don't think
I want to be
maybe,
the first.
okay, maybe I do. Maybe I do. It's like nail techs. And I was like, how many nails have you done yet?
Come when I've been in it for a bit.
No.
But yeah, we'll get there and we'll see where this journey goes. But I hope it's somewhere warm, caring. You know, I'm sure it will have its challenges, but please God, let this be kind. So yeah.
Before I have one question for you before we finish up is, when you need that break, when you need just some peace for yourself, whatever, what does that look like for you?
Is it peace?
Yeah, is it, I don't know, spending a day in a spa? Is it going for a walk with Missy? What is your...
Who can afford spas when you're sad? Like, you're probably sad because you're broke. So definitely not a spa. Okay. No. I think what I've learned to do is when I can feel that need is I'll just take a nap, give myself some time. I will walk the dog, definitely. There was a couple of times where, you know, somebody else might walk the dog or there's something else going on. And if I don't get to do that myself, my morning, my day doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I think walking the dog, just being outside, but then also, because you get your perspective, don't you? You're like, okay, yeah, I'm a person, I'm walking, relax, nuts, bring it in, calm down. And then by the time I get home, maybe I'll eat something, maybe I'll have a nice drink and then like tea, but if I needed a wine, I'd have a wine, you know. But then if I need a wine, I know there's a different issue. So sometimes I don't drink.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is how you become an alcoholic.
Okay.
So I'm like, maybe steer away from that.
Glass of kefir instead.
A glass of what?
Kefir.
What's kefir?
What did I have the other week?
Kefir?
Kefir, probiotic in water kefir.
Oh, yes.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very refreshing. You know,
Is that
sometimes
like
on a
the
Friday when you
Vita?
finish work,
and
people like have a glass of lager and they go, it's that first drink, it tastes so...
Ah,
Actually,
yeah,
a glass
yeah,
of kefir
yeah.
does the same.
Okay.
Or Pellegrino. They all do the same.
Oh,
It's that
Pellegrino,
little bit of sparkling fizz.
Yes, got
It
ya.
gives you the same feeling.
Yeah, it gives you the same feeling, but I choose myself.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned to do. So whatever the thing I need, have a bath, have a nap.
Yeah.
Go for a walk. Very simple. Watch an old episode of The Mindy Project.
Yeah.
Whatever I need to do to kind of calm. I also have a really good relationship with one of my cousins. She'd be like one of my best friends. So I'd call Jill, call Sarah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll call my people and just check in a little bit. I've got a French friend now, Nafisa, one of my best friends, Nafisa, from France. And there's certain people that offer, remember who you are. Like my cousin literally always says that to me. She's like, remember who you are? She goes, what's all this? Yeah. And there you go.
The perfect advice and a great way to finish. Nadine, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Chatted far too long. Edit some of that out, Bob, okay? Cheers. You're adorable. God bless you. Good luck with everything. Continue to shine. Hope one day I can buy a spa just for the crack. That's what I'm waiting for now.
Amazing.
I think I'll buy a spa. Oh, darling.
So thank you for listening to this week's BBell podcast. Don't forget, you can find us on social media. If you've got any questions, then please don't hesitate to DM us at bbell_wellness. You can also find this on our YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel, Sian Horn. And don't forget, the more people that subscribe, the better that we can make this pod. So don't forget, like and subscribe across all channels. And thank you.